Welcome to the Bo Benson Show. If you like conspiracy theories, you like what's going on in the government, you like to learn about secret societies, you like to learn about Jehovah Witnesses, this is the perfect channel for you. Please subscribe and make a comment. Welcome to the Bo Benson Show. Alright guys, so I just want to let you know, so I'll give you guys this update. I'm going to continue the series about Abel. I don't want you to know the case ended, and obviously the corrupt politicians had their way, and Watchtower was able to use its money to push its weight around. And they got away, and they were found not guilty, obviously, and they cited against Abel, and they cited 4 child molesters. Now, there is so much crazy stuff about this case. I want to kind of like just talk about it. Now, I understand you guys have seen the evidence. You know that the children are showing their physical defects that have occurred from malnutrition. We have the statements of the molestation happening from the children. We have the parents' letters to the children talking about the child molestation, which you guys haven't seen yet, which will be coming up later. There was actual evidence of the parents admitting to the CSA, but the court refused to let that evidence in. The court actually told Abel that he couldn't present, and then allowed the stepfather to make a claim that has nothing to do with the case. You can see that they said Abel did things and claimed things that he didn't, and that the judge just never once ever actually cared or was ever going to do anything. And you guys are probably like, oh gosh, you know, we lost, this is terrible. No, that's not the case. Abel did exactly what he did and got exactly what he wanted. He wanted the evidence of what Watchtower had done to be presentable to you guys. So he had accomplished his goal. So I don't want you guys being depressed about this situation. We have to fight. It's going to be a nasty fight, and we have to let people know what's going on. So as hard as this is what I want to get to you guys. You know, Abel took the fight to them. There's going to be more things going on. You know, the fight's not over. We need to get this into the public sphere. And now we have a tool that we can use. Because, I mean, let's think about some of these things that are going on right now. Just out there in the media right now. So, I mean, think about what's going on. Think about Ruby Franke. Media is all over the story about this woman in this church torturing children. Here's the crazy part. The whole entire country is in an outrage, right? People can't believe that this shit got away. And the reason that this shit got put down, and the reason they're not getting away with this, the reason this isn't going to be like the other cases, is because the media, and I don't mean social media, I'm talking about, well, I am talking about social media. I'm not talking about the mainstream media. I'm talking about us, the media that we are, you know, our social media. Let everyone know that this is bullshit and we're not putting up with it. This is honestly what we need to do. Because here's the thing. Abel's case, if you look at this mother and Abel's mother, they're fucking identical. And here's the thing I want to tell you guys. When you hear about Jehovah Witness parents that do this kind of shit, it's the same routine. They were taught the same way. It's like they're cloning one another. It's fucking crazy. When you talk about these Jehovah Witnesses with these horrific parents that do this kind of shit, it's the same MO over and over again. And I'm telling you, it's not a mistake. It is designed that way. Jehovah's Witnesses teach, design, hide, and create parents to behave like this. And they create these kind of sick, disgusting, abusive child molesters. The judge is dirty. I'm perfectly aware of that. California is a shithole in my opinion. In my opinion, the judge is bought. I really think that judge is probably involved in some dirty shit or takes money or something. It's just not right. I mean, when you have people who are reviewing the case and seeing the case, and they're saying, this doesn't make sense. I don't even know how the court is doing this. This isn't legal. Let's step back for a second and just look at some of the illegal activity the judge did, just so we know. Number one, Abel cannot represent himself. They took his ability to represent in court away from him, which wasn't legal. And they allowed the stepfather to represent himself. And then that's one thing. Then they allowed the son to work as a lawyer. Okay, that is completely fucking illegal. I want to say that again. The son is representing himself as a lawyer with no license. Is completely fucking illegal. And Abel told the judge this. And not only that, the son, as evidence, his fucking video of him saying that he did this, admitting that he did this, was brought into fucking evidence. That's how crazy this shit is. And then, on top of that, pretending to be a lawyer when he's not, he then was able to be their interpreter, their legal interpreter. But he doesn't work for the court. He's not a legal interpreter. And then on top of that shit, he was saying stuff and then not saying it so they can be recorded by, the people that record. I forgot what their names are and stuff, which he's not supposed to be doing that either. There is so much dirty shit that went down with this court case. And, that part of me is like, man, you just wanted a victory. That would just be the greatest thing on earth. But you just know it's not realistic. Here's the thing is, though, Abel got what he needed. He let people know, and he was forced Watchtower to actually make statements about what they did, what they didn't do, what their policy are, and he got their letter in there into the court system so everyone else can use it. So it was a win, an absolute win, and a smart fucking move on his part. Because if he would have let them not do it and then won, instead of giving them the opportunity to have to present the information, giving them the extension, he sold that deal. He got them good. Because Watchtower wanted this just to go. And we just want this to go by. We don't want to say anything. We don't want to be involved in this. This is a domestic issue. But they got pulled into it. And then they had to call in the big guns. Imagine how much money probably was handed dealing with this situation with Abel. During the time period that this shit went down, let's just think about this. My phone system, was hacked. My phone, my email system, and my internet system was all hacked. They had to pay somebody to do that shit. And then now we have this judge who is just plainly breaking the law, like literally breaking the law to allow Abel's sex offender parents to get away with the crimes. And remember, the parents never said that they never committed the crimes. They just said that it's outside, what do you call it? Statutes of limitations. So remember this. The parents didn't say they didn't do the crime. And the Watchtower didn't say the parents didn't do the crime either. Because what you guys don't know, and what was presented but then was refused, is Abel has a recording. He has the parents admitting to the crime. And Watchtower knows that. And they were able to not get that into, and not allowed to be into that particular court. Now, I know this is a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of technicalities that go into stuff like this, and I'm just giving you a gist. In the future, you'll see hopefully discussions about this, and I want you guys to remember, the ex-Jehovah Witness channels like Mikey and Kim and myself who went and presented this. And I want you to think about all these other channels who weren't willing to do this, that were too afraid. Now, am I calling you out? I want you to be honest. You're fucking right, I am. If you want to fight Watchtower, you have to fight Watchtower. If you're scared that you're going to lose your YouTube channel because you're telling the truth, so you're only going to give parts of the truth because you're too afraid, you're a coward. I'm sorry, you're a coward. That's what you are. And every single one of you people who are afraid, and you're not going to talk about what Abel did, and you're not going to talk about Abel's case, and you're just going to sit there and let this happen, these are the same people who let Ruby get away with abusing her children. And it wasn't until us, the people, jumped in and said, this is outrageous, this isn't right, we're going to make sure that you know there's consequences. My hope is that making these videos and talking about this, and then when Abel's out there doing and talking about this, this will end up being a case like Ruby. I want people to know that you think that Ruby is disgusting and crazy and that this is just some oddball. No. There are millions of Jehovah Witness families who are Rubies. Millions. So there are millions of rubies out there doing this to children. And Abel is just one. And you would be shocked at how many ex-Jehovah Witnesses out there have exact same stories. I don't know Abel. We barely been talking for, like maybe, I don't know, a year, maybe at most. I think we had talked in the past, or maybe even, I don't even know. I had to talk to Abel when it was the first time we started communicating, but it's not been very long. We've never met in person, but we have such similar stories, and we know what each other is going to say because we've lived it, because we lived the same abusive, sick society. Jehovah Witnesses are one of the worst sex offenders out there. They are some of the most vile and disgusting that the New World Order has ever produced. And you don't have to agree with me about the New World Order. That's perfectly fine. And I don't expect you to be, if you don't know what I'm saying is true and you're not sure if I'm saying is true, then don't repeat it. Why don't you research it? Why don't you find out who founded Jehovah Witnesses? Why don't you go back and watch my videos? Why don't you go back and look at the history yourself and then find out if what I'm saying is true? And then think to yourself that once you go do that and you get to that point, I want you to think about this. The New World Order, and you find out the people who are into this, who like this kind of stuff, and what they finance. And then you tell me, is that surprising that they finance Jehovah's Witnesses? Once you find out what kind of people they are, does it really surprise you that they're financing Jehovah's Witnesses? And what kind of issues Jehovah's Witnesses have? I know you guys sometimes don't like the political stuff, but you got to understand, this whole country is political. Everything goes on is political. Abel's situation is because of the political environment. Abel failing to get justice is because of the political problems. And we need to address those problems. We need to talk about them. We need to fight them. I am asking you guys, which is a favor, if you go to X and you go to Tucker Carlson and you watch episode 46, Alex Jones interview, he will give you the names, he will give you the companies, and those names and those companies that he talks about are the globalist elites. Those are the same people who are financing Watchtower. If you go and you look at those videos that I've showed you in the past, and I told you that the Watchtower is part of the World Economic Forum, right? And they deny it, but they were on there, and I showed that to you guys. This is their agenda. Jehovah's Witnesses were created by these aristocrat families, and the purpose is they wanted to create, get this, and you witnesses will know this term, a slave race. They wanted a race of people who would do what they're told, follow what they're told, and did not care about their family, their friends, or anything, only about the leaders. And that is the perfect slave race, is what they refer to, and that's what the New World Order wants. Jehovah's Witnesses are an experimentation by the aristocrat groups to create a slave race. Now, think about that. Think about what is going on with the aristocrat families right now. What things are they into? Child abuse, number one. What kind of things do Jehovah's Witnesses have problems with? Child abuse. The aristocrats and their obsession for destroying the innocent, just like Jehovah's Witnesses want to destroy the innocent. What else are these aristocrats into? These people that believe this. Now, I'm not saying that this religion is real or not, but I'm saying that they believe it is. And so they're creating this environment themselves. When you listen to this and you hear this stuff, and you should fact check everything that's here and see if it's accurate or not. Once you do that, then you find out who these people are, the companies they're associated with, BlackRock. You go and look at Watchtower. Watchtower's investments are the same companies. Watchtower is associated with the same organization groups, like obviously the UN. Obviously, they're part of the World Economic Forum. And then you tell me the World Economic Forum, what their globalist movement is. Their plan to eradicate the earth, and only their members are going to be here. This radical belief system that the New World Order has, which is part of the World Economic Forum for depopulating the human race, is identical to Jehovah's Witnesses' Armageddon belief system. Now, I don't fucking want you to sit here and say to me that that's a coincidence, because that's ignorant. You're telling me the people who finance them, and they have the same ideas, the same issues, the same dirty policies, the same issues, and then they have the same belief systems, and that it just happens that people who are buying these companies for Watchtower are New World Order people, and then they're quoting the same things. I've been showing you guys this stuff. The gloves are off. I'm telling you, this is how it is. The situation with Abel is happening because that's what the New World Order wants. These aristocrat groups that are into this, they created the Jehovah's Witnesses. The Jehovah's Witnesses is one of their children and one of their byproducts. The highest up aristocrat groups that are associated with this, what's these names of those people, will be in this video. They are associated with Jehovah's Witnesses, and they are actual Satanists. Now, like I said, you guys know that I'm not a believer in Christianity, but I'm telling you, these people are actual full-on Satanists. They believe they get power from the child abuse thing. So does the governing body. These Masonic sex cults work together. They have the same belief systems, they have the same wants, and they have the same needs. They want all free society wiped out, just like Jehovah's Witnesses want all free society wiped out. They want for them to be on the headship of control and to be with their God. Jehovah's Witnesses say Jehovah, and that the governing body and the 144,000 are going to be part of that spiritual army. The only people that are going to survive in this New World Order are the pod people. Jehovah's Witnesses call those people the sheep or the slave class. You can't tell me that you don't see coincidences with this. I'm telling you guys, once you start researching this, learning this, you're never going to turn back. You're never going to look at the society the same way. I don't tell people that Jehovah's Witnesses are Satanists. I tell people I know for a fucking fact that they are Satanists. And how do I know they're fucking Satanists? And I'm going to tell you some personal things, and I've told you guys personal things. Watchtower sent a friend of mine to try to get me to impregnate her. She told me her family are Satanists. That girl told me this and told me that her parents, who are part of a satanic order, were ordered by a higher ranking order to do this. And that higher ranking satanic order was Watchtower. Watchtower is a satanic order. They sent her to do that. She told me about it, broke down telling me this. It completely shocked me, but I didn't know how to react to it. Shortly after that, that's when the situation I told you guys about in the past, where I actually saw a member of the governing body committing a satanic ritual, which was recorded. And I know I've told you guys this, and anyone who knows me has heard this story before. I watched it. I had a friend with me who is not a Jehovah's Witness, saw this too. That person who did that, who hacked the system, is not an acquaintance of mine. It was just someone at my school, right? He was arrested by the FBI. It was taken down, and it is a legit thing. It's not one of these things where I heard about it or there's rumors. It literally fucking happened. I was there, and he was arrested by the FBI and escorted from GCC, Glendale Community College. That's my fucking experiences. So when you guys think that I make shit up and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, not only do I know what the fuck I'm talking about, I've lived it, I've seen it, I've heard it, I've felt it. Remember, one of those kids that was molested was me. I've been there at the ritual sites. I've seen this happen, and I know people this has happened to. They are Satanists. And I want you guys to understand, you are fighting against fucking people who think that demons give them power. That's why they do the things they are. That's why Jehovah's Witnesses are so fucking evil. That's why Abel's family behaves the way they did. I don't know this for sure. They could just be mentally ill. They could just be delinquent child molesters, or they could be part of a satanic order. I don't really know. I don't know Abel's family. I can't say what they are or aren't. I speculate that by how just vicious and nasty and disgusting his parents are, that they are probably actually part of the satanic order. It would make sense the way they're being protected and the way the court system is completely working for them. They are probably handlers. That is my opinion. I believe it. I'm not saying they are, but I'm saying in my opinion they are. I'm not even saying Abel thinks that. I'm saying I think that based on my experiences, and I want you guys to know what I believe Abel's parents are. I believe that they are part of a satanic order. I believe that they are probably work for one of the high-ranking Masonic groups, and that's why Watchtower is so embedded with making sure that they're protected. That is my opinion. I want the word to go out. If you believe me or not, that's fine. I just ask you to please do the research.
The other thing we're doing is making clear that in Florida, we stand for the protection of children. And unfortunately, in our society, you have very heinous sex crimes that are committed against children under the age of 12 years old. And these are really the worst of the worst. And what happens is the perpetrators of these crimes are oftentimes serial offenders. And if someone does if they rape a child, and these are very young children, sometimes like 6, 7, 8 years old. If they do that once, chances are they will do it again unless they're stopped and unless they're incapacitated. And so we really believe that part of a just society is to have appropriate punishment. And so if you commit a crime that is really, really heinous, you should have the ultimate punishment. And so what this bill does is it challenges the U.S. Supreme Court for recently deciding, probably 6 or 7 years ago, they decided by 5-4, after over 200 years of our Constitution being in place, that somehow you could never have capital punishment for crimes like rape, even though some of these are some of the worst, even though you can have serial offenders who have violated multiple children under the age of 12. And so we think that that decision was wrong. We think that in the worst of the worst cases, the only appropriate punishment is the ultimate punishment. And so this bill sets up a procedure to be able to challenge that precedent and to be able to say that in Florida, we think that the worst of the worst crimes deserve the worst of the worst punishment. And I think that that's the only thing that's appropriate.
Gang.